Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid. We're hopping back into our game with Late Age Olm. It's turn 47, and if you recall, we are engaged in a one-way war with Arethia now. I will never say that right, no matter how many times I say it. I get 5 gems from Pythium. I think I'm sending them a Moonblade. Meanwhile, we cast Sanguine Heritage 3 times. That's 3 more little vampires for us. 3 little vampire babies. We found a site. We found a magic oak, which you don't really find a lot of nature sites in Wastelands. And it looks like we got probably a bit more, probably close to 200 blood slaves this turn. 180, maybe. And then there's a bunch of battles, but these turns are taking forever, so I'm not going to click through them all. Instead, we will have less surprise, but we will navigate via the actual map. So here we go. We've got some of our vampires back. Let's take a look. So first I raided here with some vampires, so let's see how that worked. A lot of PD. This is probably 30 PD. And then it looks like there's some troops, or maybe it's 10 PD and then they moved in some troops. I'm not totally sure. Put this guy on attack rear. This actually is a problem. I probably should have put him on attack closest so he would be amongst the skeletons and his fear aura with the skeletons would do their thing. But the attack rear idea was to take commanders out. Okay, in this case it says we won it, so there you go. Shows RNG because the battle report does not match up. I think this is, I'm like 90% sure this is related to game versions changing. Because this battle did work. Like, I remember the replay working when I first watched it, which now is like 8 turns ago. But because the devs are awesome, they update the game pretty regularly. In fact, the game has updated so significantly since I played it, they added 2 whole nations. So, anyway. I do really like the devs. They're not awesome on balance, but on content and not trying to screw players over, they are pretty damn awesome. Okay, we had some big battles up here, so let's go watch these. This is the first one. So if there's a battle in this province, what it means is Arethia moved this secondary army to attack me. And we'll take a look. I've got about 100 crossbows, about 20 of these Zweihanders, some wolves. I've got this guy who's going to drop flame arrows post-haste. Now you can have this guy Phoenix power, but in a big battle you want to do flaming arrows turn 1, so I think I have him scripted to do that. Meanwhile, these guys are spending their first turn communion slaving up. And because I put these guys not too far back, they're not at the front. If they were at the front, I would have them up here, but they're pretty close. They can still get in volley range pretty quickly. This first volley is going to be without flaming arrows, but the second volley will be with it. And I can already tell you, this is probably not going to go the way they want it to. Well, let's do normal speed. So here come the flaming arrows, and there's a big volley, and swoosh. They are falling all over the place, and if we just take a step back and look at it, our front lines aren't necessarily doing great. Like, the wolves are retreating now, but our archers are laying into them in a pretty robust and profound way. We've triggered a rout from a lot of their archers, and I think, has he gotten flaming arrows up? No, he hasn't. I can't remember if he had it scripted or not. So we've already gotten most of their archers to rout, which means they're no longer valid targets really for my archers, and so then my archers switch to targeting their front line. My vampires jump in, which is okay. And we'll speed it up for the rest because now it's kind of a foregone conclusion how this plays out. And yeah, just death is raining from above. Look at that. And we get a lot. It doesn't even matter who retreats because, if you remember, we sent in this army, which was 5 vampire lords to take their PD, which this is like 12 PD, which will not be a problem. These guys honestly can just do it through skelly spam. They don't even need to jump into combat. And I think I fixed the scripting now, or maybe I didn't. No, I haven't yet. They're probably gonna attack rear. Yeah. I think I fixed scripting. Attack closest now is the script I give them, because I want them to be amongst their skeletons when they're attacking. Okay, now he attacked with some raiders. He took a fair amount of losses, if you remember, in that last battle. He had a lot more in the ocean, but he took a lot of losses. Anyway, he attacks me here, kills PD, and I've basically evacuated at this point. I don't want to fight. I don't want anything where his big army can walk in and kill me. It's about 320 now. He had another army that was big in one of these lakes, and he's decided to consolidate after his losses. And I'm not sure what he wants to do. I don't think he feels comfortable enough to try to push in and take another fort, but if he did, the risk of doing that too is I can cut off his retreat routes and kill everything, and if I kill this big army, then he's dead. So he really wants to keep this alive, because this is his last lifeline to not being invaded and conquered. Meanwhile, I think we also, okay, we had a battle here. I stormed this fort, and there wasn't much inside, just a few crossbow. And the wolves managed to do that. And so now we have a throne. We have the lower throne. I can't claim it yet because I only have one Holy 3 guy and he is a long way away. But I have that. We're gonna instead move these guys on top of Micklin and see if we can siege that down in a hurry. It's also a level 3 city, which is quite nice. We have a battle here. We'll check this out. And see, I won. Okay, just PD. And I think those are the battles of note. Well, okay. Some of the, I was taking, okay, both of these things freaking failed. We'll watch this real quick. So I was attacking Lemuria to get this back. And this works. Which actually, these guys are remarkably hard to kill with a good bless. On regeneration. And then Utgard attacks me, because Utgard is valiantly defending his lands against the evil Ulm and Lemuriites. Okay. Actually, this is a replay bug issue too. I'm gonna have to start doing my turns closer to the actual thing. I got like a week out of sync here. But the way the first battle played out is my guys actually surrounded that one PD dude, and the wolves couldn't kill him because all kept repelling him, and then he has a life train attack where he heals higher than his base HP. So yeah, super valuable one PD with a good bless. And then here, there wasn't supposed to be anybody. But but Utgard apparently pushed an army into here. So as a result, this consul's here, and there's no way we're gonna kill this consul with wolves, not with 1,000 wolves. So, yeah, anyway, that's how that goes. Anyway, that's annoying because I bargained to get these provinces back, and they're not back. So anyway, we're gonna continue, we're gonna attack with this guy, it should work. This one, I'm gonna let Utgard move out before I attack it. I'm not gonna take it back immediately. I also want to get this forted. This is a super valuable province. Once I have a good fort on it, it will give me about 300, 400 income a turn. And I know I'm going to be fighting Lemuria, and he's going to be trying to raid it, and I would much rather have a bunch of dudes inside of my really valuable province and have it not get raided. Though we'll see, we'll see. Anything else of note here? We're gonna try to storm this. We broke through the walls. Basically the plan is I'm gonna try to get my archers in range where they can get the first salvo off and hit whatever he's got in there. And then I've got some meat at the front, but not a ton, which is on hold and attack. Not sure if that's the right call, but might be, we'll see. Anyway, and I've got a fair amount of artillery here. I've got a lot of these guys doing Iron Blizzard. Yeah. Should work, expect it will work. I've got a pretty big troop here. They're going to move up here. I do want to take this, but I can't totally remember if I negotiated for it or not in the deal with Lemuria. I think I did. I think it's mine. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do about this. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to send in some vampires to take this back. I don't know whether he's going to try to keep it, but that's basically what we're going to do. We're still continuing to, I'm gonna, we'll detour real quick. We're gonna continue to make vampire counts. I believe I'm super close to Blood 7. Yeah, I get it this turn. And after that I can make Vampire Lords, and then when I have Darkness, I can potentially fight this big army, though I have to be very careful about how I do that. And Darkness wasn't something, I only got it once Erethia, or however the hell you say it, attacked me, because it's not good against Lemuria, and it's not particularly good against Abysia. I think they get 50% Dark Vision, though I can't fully remember. Let's check, maybe we can see here. Yeah, he's got a couple. These guys don't get it, so a lot of his troops don't get it, but his demons do, and I think some of his mages might. Anyway, we're gonna storm this. Hopefully that works. We're also gonna take this lake back. I've got a little Banelord kitted up with a Vine Shield and a Flesh Eater, which should work. I'm gonna want to take this lake from Erythria, or however the hell you say it. And most importantly, because we had this big battle here that we won, we're going to be seizing the day and running forward here. Now, we have a lot of vampires. We have these 5, and then we have about 5 here too, or 4 here. These 4 are going to preemptively siege this, and we're going to shut down production, and we're going to go ahead and get the PD out of the way so he can't surprise me with mages. So we're going to take that this turn, and then these 5, the ones that took this, are going to come take this. And the reason is we want to start raiding, and we want to make it very difficult for him to reinforce this fort. Yeah, and that's basically it. And I think at this point I've got like maybe 5 turns left on the piece with Lemuria. Maybe a bit more. Maybe a bit more. And this fort is not broken, but I think this will break soon. Yeah, so that's it for this turn. I'm gonna do one more turn this episode. Oh, you know, I didn't do diplomacy. We're gonna do that super quick, because I never do that. Okay, so Lemuria apologized to me offline for the fact that basically I didn't get these provinces we negotiated back, so he apologized, and I told him no worries. And so Erythria replies back to my message I sent, I think, at the end of last episode, where he says, my scouting network probably could be better, no denying that. Anyway, regardless of what Lemuria does, I admit that I agree. I probably don't have a ton of hope in this war. We fought before, and I've seen your videos, and based on that, I have little doubt you'll be able to beat me, but even if I lose, I'll have fun and hopefully an educational time doing so. I will say, if we're both alive and Lemuria does start throwing up big globals, I'll be willing to call a truce for the sake of fighting back or dispelling them. Okay. And that's really true. It is very, very difficult to have any kind of peace against the Pop Kill Nation late into the game once they get big. It really is. It's unfortunate, but just this fact that Underdark exists means you have to wipe them off the game, like off the face of the table, or get them very, very weak before you enter the late game, or if you're a living nation, you're probably going to lose. And that's only because Underdark exists. And for Aretha, it's particularly bad because his all relies on not being in darkness. Like, if you have darkness, all doesn't work. So he's always going to be in darkness. For me, it's kind of not great either. My guys lose a lot of precision and my human troops start to suck. Okay, we have an Earth Elemental attack. Let's check this out. Okay, Horde of Skeletons. Horde of Skeletons. Horde of Skeletons actually is not bad for dealing with Earth Elementals, but unfortunately I fatigue out real quick. Yeah, there we go. Okay, unfortunate. But no harm, or no permanent damage done. He'll just respawn. Was this? This looks like a magic phase attack. I wonder if this guy was kitted with anything. Okay, he's casting returning. Usually the way you want to do this, I found, is not by casting returning, because he's trying to bait out gem usage, which should have worked, but I don't think it did. The problem with casting returning is you don't know when you're going to get hit. But the other problem if you do Ritual of Returning is you could get one hit killed. Not super sure what I would do here, but... he was trying to bait out gem usage before he actually had a major attack, but it doesn't... I don't think that worked. Let's go check down here. Foden, whatever. I don't see a battle there. Yeah, normally you're only going to do a magic phase attack like that to bait gem usage in a situation where you're going to attack them next. But maybe he was just trying to burn gems. Anyway, he only burned his own gems. We have a battle here. This appears to have been successful. Okay, we killed the wall PD. Okay, and like that we take this. This is another really high income province with a good fort on top of it, so I want to get my Dominion here. One of my favorite things about playing with Ulm is when you get a bunch of black priests in your army, you can switch them all to Preach, and you can see this is at 5 enemy Dominion. Next turn it's going to be positive my Dominion, and that's partially because these guys are Inquisitors, so they act like a Holy 4 priest when they're preaching an enemy Dominion. But you can control Dominions so hard with these guys, which is really nice when you're fighting Lemuria. But it's really nice in general, because I really want to have this under my scales. And we'll do that just as fast as my little body can. Okay, and then we're going to kind of hang tight here. I don't really want to fight them yet. My thinking on this too, Utgard is putting up a really good defense against Lemuria. I don't want to cripple him while he's defending. And I kind of have my hands full with other shit at the moment, so I'm kind of fine just not taking losses and looking big and scary down here. I do want to finish taking this, though, and I broke through this fort. We're going to storm the castle. Let's take a look at what we're going to storm it with. It's a lot of wolves, which is not great because they can rout, and then not a ton of archers, only about 60. And then not a huge amount of my black priests either. So a little low, and then I really shouldn't storm with the wolves. The wolves actually can be counterproductive in large numbers. So I probably should just had them on siege. Sent these guys in. But anyway. We also got attacked by Phantasmal Warriors, so we're going to try to break that. We've got some dudes coming in here. Hopefully that will work. Phantasmal Warriors will fall to Iron Blizzard pretty damn fast. And we have some battles here. So this is the raid on top of this fort that we're going to try to take. Here is a raid with our other vampires who are running in, and this actually, so this will be a pretty formidable battle here. And this one, if the replay is different than reality, I might end up losing. So you can see on the battle map that I actually won, but the skeletons run in. We've got 4 vampires who are running around. Their main troops close in, and I think this is not just PD. This seems to be too much to just be PD, but I could be wrong. And fortunately, my vampires are all close to each other, so we're getting a lot of fear stacking. So these guys are probably going to rout. Oh, they've got really high morale. Oh, these guys have fear? They don't have fear. What? This can't be. I could have sworn they had fear. Maybe only vampire lords have fear. I gotta check that. I could have sworn vampires have fear. Abomination. Okay, so we're just gonna have to kill him the old-fashioned way. Seems to be effective. I think we're about to get a rout. Okay, the archers run in. Oh no, the archers are getting point blank. They want to get some good shots off. And we'll speed this up real quick. Okay, we probably got a fair number of afflictions here, but we cause a rout. So that was pretty damn effective. This guy, poor guy, he got 4 afflictions. Mute, never healing wound, limp, battle fright. That's okay. We need to get this guy good and killed, and he will help remove his afflictions. So that was quite good raiding with vampires. Vampires, they're not great raiders one at a time, but you put them in groups, they're actually really good. And also, importantly, we finished blood magic. So we are going to use our god, who we made to not only summon our counts, but he can also summon vampire lords. And he's going to go ahead and cast that and summon a vampire lord. And yeah, that's going to be really good. And we'll check, maybe not in this episode, but next episode we'll actually see whether vampires have fear or not. Because I could have sworn the counts did, but they don't. And I'll be totally misremembering if the vampire lords do not have fear. Either way, they're good anyways, so the plan for the rest of this is we're going to be moving this group in. I don't think he has much to defend this, because we've kind of killed everything on this side of the map, and we're limiting his ability to reinforce. So we're going to go ahead and move all this crap in here. We've got a bunch of wolves over here. These wolves are going to get... like, this guy's coming. He's got more fire gems in case I need them. And he's going to come bring the wolves up here to help siege this down. Whoops. Meanwhile, I'm also going to get the Green Horde to help here with going ahead and getting a good siege going. And I can also potentially use them to raid these provinces. That's one of the cool things about mercenaries, is you can use them to put them immediately on top of enemy forts that you siege. So we'll be doing that. And a lot of times this late in the game, people don't end up using mercs, even when they might be valuable. A lot of times that's because they have so much upkeep that they don't really have a lot of disposable income, and then other troops are kind of better value once you're through expansion. But these guys are still good in a pinch, and so we'll be using them. Let's check right here real quick and see if I actually fought any normal troops. Yeah, so they had an army here too, right? So they were sending an army to come up and reinforce this fort. And I caught it with these vampires without any mage support, because they weren't expecting a fight. So not only did I get the PD, but I got a reasonably sized army, and I got them all nice and killed. And we can see there's not much back here for him to defend. So he's got a bunch of dudes in here, but it's all split off from his base, and I can just pour my troops through here, and I'll have these guys isolated. Now, I don't know what he's going to do here. I don't know if he's going to attack me or not. I don't want to fight them with the conventional army. I've pulled up a big army here so I can potentially fight him, but I don't really want to. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to move everybody here. And I don't think he's going to move his whole army out. What I think he may do is move like another raiding squad out. And if he does, I'm going to try to catch him with this, and we'll hopefully pick him apart. If he moves his big army and casts all his spells, I'm probably going to lose all of this. But there's a lot of dudes here, so we'll do some damage first, hopefully. Meanwhile, we're going to raid here with vampires, and that should be effective. Yeah, so that's basically the plan. We're getting a big army here. We're hoping to catch a raiding squad, but we don't really want to fight him. We want to kind of just pick him apart. Which a lot of times, if you have a big economy and you're fighting a war with maybe somebody that their armies can kill you or do a lot of damage, a lot of times you don't want to have a direct conflict where you just blow them up. A lot of times you kind of just want to pick them apart, because you'll eventually win the economic war. Rather than, like, blowing a hole in yourself and making a big opportunity for them to rapidly expand. Like, as long as he can't kill everything, he won't feel confident in expanding. So this guy was successful taking this. We're going to take this back, and then we'll be in good shape. Got our maze back, give us some good pearl income. I think we'll end this episode. I'm going to end it with looking at some of the statistics, because I haven't gone through those. So we've got a really good fire income. We've got pretty good air income, water income. Our earth income doesn't suck anymore. If you remember, for the first half of the game, we had 0, even though we were searching desperately for earth gems. So we've got a decent earth income. Our astral income is awesome. Our death income is great. And then our nature income's okay. And then obviously our blood slaves are through the roof. We're probably double Abyssia's blood slave income, if I had to guess. Though maybe not. He's probably got a lot. What else? Let's see if were there any battles up here of note. We do want to check this, and then I'm going to pull up the score graphs. No, nothing here. We're kind of watching. I want to see the next battle between those guys. Oh, statistics. Okay. So here is the province graph. So you can see I've just been growing the whole game. The whole game. We had like a little up and down here as I've been fighting, but really this war with Erythia is not really going that poorly for me. Here I was expanding, here I'm fighting Marignon, here I'm helping Utgard, here I'm fighting... We had a little plateau, which really was the best thing for everybody else. I wasn't getting bigger. And then here against Marignon, here against Erythia. Forts, you can see we're doing pretty good. Here's where we lost that one. Income, this is pretty damn good. It's a little choppy due to unrest from blood hunting, but all in all, not a bad story. Gym income, not looking bad. Research, this is only really relevant if you're comparing it to other nations. I've been told I'm kind of shitty. Like, I think I'm tied with Lemuria, and we're tied for worst. I think Lemuria went and did some Achaeic knowledge, but yeah. Anyway, my research is kind of shitty, but hopefully we can pick up. If you want to be more greedy with Elaeum, you can go up construction a bit faster than I did and try to do the research items faster. I didn't do that, but maybe I should have. I was really trying to get Iron Blizzard quickly for Lemuria. Dominion, fine. Army size, I'm probably close to wolves, like wolves to ghosts. I've got a ton of these guys. And my wolves suck for a lot of things, but they're good for sieging. And there's some fun stuff you can do. When you get life after death, which is something I can get, your little wolves will all turn into undead, which is quite nice. And when you get alteration really high, Will of the Fates, you can make them all lucky so they get really hard to kill. And with blood, when you get blood 8, which I will get, you get Rush of Strength, which is going to make them do 4 more damage. Yeah, they're not that bad once you buff them up. But the real linchpin is you need to have life after death, otherwise they kind of just retreat and run away. Berserk is also not bad on them, which is... I always forget what that is. I think that's... Is it Thaumaturgy? Oh yeah, I can actually cast that already. I don't really have great nature access yet, but Growing Fury. It is Nature 4, 1 gem, which means if you're Nature 2, you can't cast it, but if you're Nature 3, you can cast it with 2 gems. So something I could do, but not something I will. Anyway, very good with wolves. Especially wolves with all the other stuff I mentioned on them. So like bringing 1,000 wolves with all that shit would be kind of hilarious, especially with mass flight. Those are going to be hard things for me to pull off, but they are things I can pull off. But I can do life after death very easily, and just that one alone makes wolves way, way better. Unfortunately, I'm not focusing that for research. My research priority, I'm going to get Alteration 6 for Darkness, and then I'm going to run up to Thaumaturgy. Because if there's one thing that's going to win the game for me, it's going to be Undead Mastery. Because I have Vampires, I can do Sabbath Communions, and then Undead Mastery will just ruin Lemuria. If I get a staked up fight and I fight him and I have some degree of chaff and I drop, let's say 6 of these, which is expensive, it's like 40 death gems, but it's also totally doable. That will really, really hurt, especially if I drop it with any kind of magic penetration items. He's going to be in bad shape. And then also it's going to give me another spell that I can cast, though a little bit more difficult, is Master and Slave. And this one's a little less exciting. Takes a little longer to cast, is more pearls. Very, very hard to get. You need Astral 8, which... is 1 path higher too, also than Undead Mastery. But you can do it. I have Astral Mages, they can go into Communions. What will help is we have Power of the Spheres, which I cannot really use to get my magic path up with my death dudes. And then you also get Light of the Northern Star, which will also get it up. So, yeah. I mean, the way you would do this is you have one guy cast Light of the Northern Star. So you get into a communion, you have one guy cast this, you have the people who are actually going to be doing Master and Slave casting Power of the Spheres, and this will get them all jazzed up. When this is done, this won't have cast yet, so they won't be able to cast it most likely, depending on the size of your communion. So you'll have them cast something else, like some battlefield buff or something like that, and then after that they drop the Big Mama Master and Slave, which I will use against Abyssia if I have to fight him. I'm hoping... I've been sending Abyssia some messages, but I haven't gotten one back. And basically I've been saying, hey, take this stuff, or hey, I'm saving this for you, you don't have to worry about a throne rush. Because I really want them to help me with Lemuria, who's going to be very cancerous, so... so far, I'm not getting any Diplo back from him, which usually means you're going to get attacked. But anyway. These are very cancerous nations. Abyssia, Lemuria, and Ulm. Aretha is kind of in a tough situation because it's with like 3 of the most cancerous nations in the game aside from Airmore. Like, Astral Corruption's definitely coming up. Underdark's definitely coming up. None of those are going to particularly kill me, but anyway. Okay, so I'm going to end this episode. We'll end it with, we're putting a big trap here if he does a small raiding party. We're going to try to siege this fort down and take it. And we are going to storm the fort of Mictlan. So that's basically it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you in the next episode.